There's no doubting what you've achieved here on a technical level. These are clearly state-of-the-art. There are just certain design choices that were made for these robots that we don't fully understand. We were hoping you could shed some light on those.
Lil Bulb is an artificially intelligent personal robot helper. He can make toast, find your keys, serve as a book light for your late-night reading. You'll never have to do anything yourself again.
With all due respect, those weren't the design choices we were curious about, Dr. Gearloose. So, the Ducktales 2017 reboot. As I mentioned in my previous video, I've become obsessed with this show, as it's most likely one of Disney's greatest achievements. And that's saying something, because not only am I not a big fan of Disney in general, but I've never watched the original Ducktales. Before the reboot, I went to check out a few episodes to get a feel of what I may be getting into. And some of the episodes were, while dated, pretty enjoyable. Of course, the reboot has a lot of changes added to it, both narratively and cosmetically. Are those changes worth diving into like a pool of gold coins? Let's find out as we review the most recent episode, Beware the Buddy System. The episode opens up on a shot of a gang of criminals escaping from a bank, and Darkwing Duck pursues them soon after. Wait, what? I think we've got our shows mixed up.
Oh. Whoa, what? Darkwing Duck? The greatest TV show of all time?
From what I understand, Darkwing Duck was also a very popular show back in the day. And I've checked out a few clips from that as well. I'm not too big on the superhero genre, but I thought it was pretty good. Goslin's adorable, if anything. So Launchpad reveals to Dewey that he's officially gotten his driver's license, and they both drive off to McDuck's office to tell him the big news.
How have you been a driver without a driver's license?
Hey, come on, I've got a pilot's license, don't I? Wait, don't I?
If there was one thing I had to gripe about in regards to the new show, it's that for a while they've been making Launchpad look more like the comedic idiot. I'm not saying that like it's a bad thing, because I know that was his role in the original. On top of that, if written properly, the comedic idiot is what makes the show special. But in episodes like Terror of the Terra Firmians and The Impossible Summit of Mount Neverest, he doesn't have any charm behind that idiocy, and he comes off as more annoying than anything else. Thankfully, this episode takes a different approach.
Huh. Surprise! Supplies?
It doesn't matter how many times I watch this episode, that joke gets me every time. They go into Gearloose Laboratory to find Mr. McDuck and Gyro Gearloose discussing a prototype for a train powered by sound, which, if I may say so, is an amazing idea.
The Gearloose monophonic rail converts oral input into kinetic propulsion.
Huh?
Sound-powered train.
I don't want to hear anything. This sensitive prototype runs on noise.
A lot of people have mentioned that Gyro is more different from his original character than any other character in the series. And I'll be honest, I don't have too big a problem with this. Sure, he's a little strict at times, but he's also very passionate towards his work and hopes to produce good results. If anything, I'm especially excited to see what they do with his character over the course of the series. Also, what fangirl can't get enough of that hipster getup, honestly? Speaking of fangirls, in walks Fenton Crackshell Cabrera, voiced by the illustrious and talented Broadway superstar himself, Lin-Manuel Miranda. They hyped this guy up in the promos, and for excellent reason. Aside from his most popular work, he composed the music for In the Heights, voiced Crackerjack from BoJack Horseman, and did an impeccable rap number in How I Met Your Mother. Scrooge tells Gyro that ever since Bulb Tech failed, the board needs a new invention that won't turn evil, and Dewey suggests a self-driving robot car. Fun fact, self-driving robot cars actually exist. In Michigan, they use them to deliver pizza.
Wah, too many variables. A self-driving robot car would turn evil like that. Nobody could.
Well, Mark Beaks did. He just posted that he's having a demo later today.
What?
His facial expressions are too much for me, I swear. That aside, I'm surprised Dewey still wants anything to do with Beaks after that infernal internship fiasco. Also, if my last video didn't make it obvious enough, I do love Mark Beaks as a character. Sure, he's narcissistic, picky, and manipulative, but he's also a hilarious and over-the-top millennial hipster. A great leader who you can't deny, has enough charisma that allows him to draw in an audience quickly. He's the type of guy that people who don't know him on a personal level want to follow. Unfortunately, this also makes him a potential threat to Scrooge and Dr. Gearloose. So they go to the demo where it's revealed that he's developed a robot known as the B.U.D.Y system, which he states is 100% obedient to its master and is unable to crash. This immediately catches Scrooge's attention, making Launchpad concerned about losing his job. So he challenges Beaks' robot to a race.
Me versus the bot. Winner gets free candy for life. Oh, that's better. Winner is named the ultimate driver.
Later that evening, they go to Gearloose Lab so that they can enhance their chances of winning the race.
I'm happy to prove my worth by aiding Mr. McQuack. Dr. Gearloose is working on an innovation that will better all of mankind, both literally and figuratively.
In some ways, Fenton is very similar to his character from the old show. He might have had different motivations that were less than just wanting to help or benefit mankind, but he's as outgoing as ever. We also see that he's very impulsive, but we'll get to that at a later point.
Your lab is in the bathroom?
Dr. Gearloose says this is the perfect place for my work. I'm just now realizing that remark may not have been entirely complimentary.
So Fenton suggests a few ideas of how to adjust Launchpad's limo to win the race. But he denies, stating that he wants to win by being a more careful driver to meet Scrooge's expectations. And this is what I meant when I said that they took a different approach with Launchpad. They still show that he's a little bit on the simple side for comedic effect, but they give us a reason to root for him in the end. The next day, Fenton gives Launchpad an overabundance of notes that will teach him how to win the race without crashing. To be fair though, he's still better at driving carefully than I am. Still, he loses, and after some gloating, Gyro comes out and reveals that B.U.D.Y was made using bulb tech.
Beaks tech is actually bulb tech. That's how he beat me to the punch. He stole my technology! Officer, arrest this man!
Is this true?
Of course not. I didn't steal it from him. I stole it from a public online forum. Then Beaksed it up.
So you plagiarized it, basically. How much do you guys want to bet that by the time Season 2 is out, Channel Frederator is going to have a top 10 list of things that should have landed Mark Beaks in prison? Those videos are always fun to watch. Having said that, Fenton leaking bulb tech onto the internet is what takes the cake.
You posted my top secret plans on the internet?
You were having so much trouble keeping your inventions from turning evil, so I turned to the net to crowdsource a solution.
This scene stands out to me the most. It's hard not to be mad at Fenton for what he did, because getting an outside opinion for the public is not a bad idea, especially if you're making a product that you hope to distribute to the rest of the world. Learning what they want is just as important as what they need. And I think that with some careful thinking, some rules in place, and some communication, this could have actually worked out. That's one of the reasons that we have programs like Skype or Discord, so that large-scale projects across the web can be made debatably without leaking information. But as I already stated, Fenton is rather impulsive. Good ideas can have bad results when executed poorly, so Gyro nearly attacks him, rightfully fires him, and everyone but Fenton and Launchpad get in the car to head back to town. But when Gyro asks Mark how he kept B.U.D.Y from turning evil, he states that he just made it look less dorky. This pisses off the robot, and he traps everybody in the car.
Oh, we need a logic puzzle to fry its circuits. Robot, what is love?
That's stupid!
I'm surprised Mark didn't ask if water was wet. Knowing how internet savvy he is, I'm sure he's had to come across that meme more than once. Dewey uses Scrooge's cane to honk the horn, getting Fenton and Launchpad's attention, and they both team up to stop the car. I get goosebumps every time at this part, especially since I love car chases, whether it's animated or live action. Whether that's due to the fast-paced animation or the rush of the intense chase music, it really helps to bring this scene to life. Especially as Fenton calls in the reinforcements, activates Project Blatherskite, becomes Gizmo Duck, and rescues Gyro and the others from the car. There is no other way they could have made the scene more perfect.
Who the blazes are you?
Call me Gizmo Duck!
Gizmo Duck?
Gizmo Duck.
Fans of the show are going to ship those two so hard later on down the road. And I'm going to be one of those fans when they do. Unfortunately, Fenton gets caught in a bit of a bind, and it's up to Launchpad to get dangerous and stop him from crashing into the ravine. They get away from B.U.D.Y by crashing into him, nearly fall off the cliff, and Gizmo Duck saves them once again.
I'm alive! This is awesome!
Looks like somebody's first crash.
Back at the garage, Mr. McDuck praises Launchpad for his rescue and congratulates him on earning his driver's license. Gyro decides that the suit is idiot-proof and that Fenton is just the idiot to prove it, hiring him back. Hey, as long as we get more Manuel Miranda's talent out of this series as a result, I'm all for it.
Gizmo Duck. I must have him.
I totally ship them. Beware the Buddy system has become my favorite episode of Season 1. It showcases the majority of my favorite characters. It's filled with heart, it has comedic moments, and it's able to keep me on my toes no matter how many times I watch it. The way I see it, as long as they keep up what they're doing with the character development, the animations, the stories, and give both Gyro and Mark Beaks as much screen time as possible, I think we're in for a promising reboot. What do you guys think? Did this episode pass the finish line, or did it just crash and burn? Let me know in the comments below, and I hope to see you all next time. Thanks for watching!